Hi everybody, this is your spiritual colorist and diamond painter, and I want to come back to you once again. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to do one of my book hauls, and these are mostly all my books that I've gotten mostly during the summer and the fall of this season. Most of the books that I've been getting have been books that I've really been drawn to, that have really been connecting with during the seasons and the changes that have been going on. Personally, since I'm not someone that really dives into all the trends and try to do what everyone else is doing, but when it comes to learning the techniques and the different beginners, craft of coloring and trying to learn as much as possible, I do like to go along with those trends of really just finding what is best when it comes to the type of books you need, or learning the different things that you can learn from the coloring community in terms of what type of pencils or type of books you can use to learn to better your skills and your craft. This is one of the books that I bought that's called The Big Bunny of Coloring Charts. And when you're doing any type of coloring, whether it's pens, markers, people make swatches and patterns of their pencils from different colors. And this have all the different pencils that you can name, from the cheapest to the most expensive. Most of these pencils that are in here I've heard of, and some I have not. They have notes you can take, and they have little pictures that show you the basic coloring chart. And it gives you a lot of good examples of how to combine your coloring. They have Carteza pencils, and then there's the names right down here. And you could take your pencils and fill in the circles for the swatches to put in the different colors. One of the pencils that I do have was Black Widow. And I have the Cobra and I have the Spider. So I actually did both of those, and I did the swatches for those. But I like the book because I guess better than it takes more time to write it down, write the numbers, that this would be a good book to have when I want to really do write, not instead of writing down, but learning the different tones, because you have all these different colors like deep red, fire red, sunset red, that don't look the same, and you may take it out thinking it looks one color and it may be another. So as a beginner, like I've said in many of my other videos, I'm not someone who's been doing adult coloring for like 5 or 10 years. I've always colored. I've always loved coloring, but learning to be professional, learning the techniques, learning the different trades and the different levels that you have to go through of being a professional and really being good at the art of being a colorist. It takes time, it takes patience, and I think it's something that we learn as we grow as colorists, something that you always also learned as a child. When you were first learning how to color, how to stay in the lines, how to be patient, how not to get upset when something don't go your way. You're still learning that same thing in the craft. And color, as a colorist, it teaches you a lot. It teaches you patience. It teaches you how to take your time. It teaches you how to really be able to get into details and be able to want to make something look good. So not being perfect, but learning to do things to the extent where you make it look as good as possible. So if first you don't succeed, brush yourself off and try again, and not giving up, and then creating your own style and being creative and having your own creative freedom to do what you want to do. So that's what this book is basically about. It has many different pictures where you can even try out the different crayons or coloring pencils or markers in this book. And I like it a lot. I'm not going to go through a full flip through, but the Derwent drawing pencils are in here. I have the Derwent markers, but I don't have the pencils. Alrighty. The other books that I've been getting when it comes to coloring, I've been drawn to mostly are mainly books that are really many sentimental, that remind me of my childhood. And like a lot of people who are drawn to stories of their childhood or stories that really have been fascinating from your past or your memory, I really like stories like Alice in Wonderland, which I know a lot of people love. Lucy adds color. I love to watch her draw and color um, Alice in Wonderland pictures. She's a real big fan of Alice in Wonderland. She doesn't draw, but she does color pictures of Alice in Wonderland, and she's really a great colorist. This is one of the books that I bought of Alice in Wonderland, since there are so many versions of Alice in Wonderland out there. And I got this book because it is, if you know anything about Alice in Wonderland, it's an adventurous story. It's a funny story. And the Mad Hatter was always one of my favorite characters in the book. So the only picture I did was of the Mad Hatter. And it's on the Twinkle Twinkle Little Bat, How I Wonder What You're At. You know the song, perhaps. And it's so funny. I just always love the comedy. And I love the one with Johnny Depp. And how he's so funny in Alice in Wonderland's movie that they did. How they recreated it. And there's also the cat. So yeah, I love this book. That's the only picture I've done in this coloring book. But most of the coloring books I have bought kind of took me back to my childhood. And some of the things that reminded me of things that I like, since I was always a great reader. And I love mythology. So I bought this one. And I always loved reading mythology when I was younger, since I was a really bookworm. And I'm telling you, there is a coloring book out there for everybody, for everything. And it's amazing how many different coloring books they have. I haven't done any coloring in this one, but I love the different characters. And it's by Jade Summer, I think. Yeah, my girl. I really like some of the Jade Summer books. She has so many books. But the ones that I'm really loving are some of the ones I've got for the seasons. And this is another one with the Greek mythology, and it's Adonis. And she has the black background on the back, just in case you want to use the markers and the markers don't bleed through. So, yes. And I like the way her figures look, where you can really, you know, put a lot of marker. You can do really a lot of different coloring, whether it's watercoloring, markers. So when I do things, I like to really tend to gravitate to something that you can feel, that makes you feel, you know, not just coloring a page, because you want a coloring book that doesn't remind you of a childhood coloring book, you know, with just little simple doodles. As an adult, for adult coloring, I like coloring where the page and the art is really beautiful, where it's really something that you can feel like you're adding your own personal touch to it. And for stories and different characters, when you're really putting the color to the page, you want stuff that really makes you feel like you're doing your own creative input. And in adult coloring, like, you just don't want the little simple like activity books. You know the difference in regular coloring and adult coloring. We try to, at least I do, I try to gravitate to things that really speak to me. And when it comes to like stories that we remember as our childhood and the way the pictures look, this is a more Victorian Cinderella book, and it's grayscale. I've only done one picture in this book. Sorry, my hair out the way. It's okay. But I like the fact that it was a Victorian scene. And I don't do a whole flip through of the entire book, but I do like the grayscale look and kind of the Victorian look images. And I think you probably could do like a lot of watercolor pencil on here. And that's a pretty picture. So with pictures like these, you can really try to bring out a lot of vibrant color and really make the picture pop and look really pretty. So it's a lot of practicing and a lot of just, you know, bringing your own creative beauty to the picture. I like that too when she's doing her hair. There's the castle. And then that one. That's works, right? But yeah, doing pictures like this, I would definitely look at something that looks more Victorian, like in the George Washington days, to try to make the colors really stand out. And then I have one of my other favorite artists that I bought, and she's going to go along with my second video of one of my favorite artists. But this is Micah Jelena, and she's one of my favorite female artists when it comes to her coloring books and her pictures. This is volume 2, and I like her pictures because I can relate to a lot of her pictures in here. She has a lot of beautiful women pictures that are just outstanding. I love her, the way that her women pictures look. I love the eyes, I love the hair, like the women with the T and the wings. I think I've done a picture in this book. It's in the back, I believe. She has, like that would be me meditating, concentrating, focusing. Definitely. The picture I did in this book is right here. And I used some of my distress ink for the background. And I used some of my Prismacolor as well as pastel for the flowers. And she has different names, and this one is Iris. So I think this is the only picture I did of hers in volume 2. But I have done more in the volume 1. And I love the way she has both grayscale and just plain white paper on both of them. It's really beautiful pictures. So just a brief flip through. And all her females have names to them, which I love as well. The other thing I'm always going to gravitate to is nature. And nature is just something that I love when it comes to artists who can put nature in such an awesome way, where it looks beautiful, where it, especially like I said, my first favorite colors with Hannah Carson, how she brings nature with fun looking pictures with people and animals. But with this one, I'm a flower, I'm a herbalist, I'm into natural health and wellness. So for the Flower of the Year coloring book, and I always love coloring books that look like books. And this was so pretty, and it has all the different flowers that goes by the month of the entire year. And then it had all the different flowers and their names, which I love that they name the flowers. And I'm all about the flowers. So I haven't done anything in this book yet. Then it's February. And then you have all these pretty flowers. And there's some animals in there, like just all the birds. You have dandelions. You have tulips. You have roses. And it says, along these blushing borders, bright with dew, and in you mingled wilderness of flowers, fair-handed spring unblossomed every grace. James Thompson. And then there's April. So I love the flowers. I thought this was really pretty. You maybe color one for each month. And when I saw this one, who is by Jade Gideon, it is called Rainforest. And it's another nature-y book. because I love the rainforest and all its beautiful and exotic plants and earth healing plants. And I like the beginning of the book where it shows you a little house, and how this book actually has like an opening where it opens up, and you can see the flowers from the beginning. And then it has like its own little storyline there. And just at the top it says, "There's no overlooking the abundance of natural beauty that thrives in the Caribbean. And there are a few things I look forward to more than waking to sea breezes sneaking through the Maria windows and the chorus of the Cascade birds with their namesake calls of Questkey quilted." And this is just part of what they have written there, a little story to go by of how beautiful the Caribbean is. Sorry. With the house. And then when you have here, this is something you can actually open up. And that opens up to like this, where you get to see the whole entire picture of the lizard. And then that picture. And then it folds back. And then it goes on. I'm not going to do entire flip through. Maybe I will one day when I do maybe a whipping chat or a coloring chat. Take a vacation in comparable Caribbean Isles. And yeah, I like this. And this is another picture. And that's beautiful of the flower and the plant. And I like it because you can, like I said, really bring a lot of beautiful color to pages like these and make it your own. And as an artist or colorist, you want something that you can really just turn into something spectacular by adding such beautiful color and making it feel vibrant and alive. The other Jade Summer book that I love is her autumn season. And with everything going on in our world, with all these different earthly disasters or natural disasters going on, from the heat, the fire, and then we have the tornadoes, and now we have the floods. God be with us. And God bless all those who are out there and going through such perilous times as these, and such craziness going on all over the world. And my prayers and my sympathy is with anyone who is in those areas who may be experiencing the floods and the fires. And my heart and prayers are with you, because I know it's so devastating to see it, and you just don't know if it'll ever be you. But when it comes to the seasons and how we look forward to the season changing, and it's fall, and the leaves turn colors, and we're getting near to the Thanksgiving, or people who celebrate the holidays. Times like that have changed, because now you just don't know what's happening. The seasons are not the same. And doing books like these just kind of puts you in the mood of the way things should be, or the way things normally could be, or how they used to be, and was growing up in the fall season, of how beautiful things can be in the fall. And I wanted to get something that really represented autumn, that when coloring the pictures, it can bring back a lot of beautiful memory of just the fall season itself. The beauty of the changing of the leaves, the beauty of the pumpkin, the beauty of, the ending of the season when Thanksgiving and the holidays are coming along, the beauty of the animals, from the squirrels collecting, all their food and getting ready for the wintertime. That's why I say when we, as adult colorists, we try to do things that we tune into. But for me, I like to tune into something that really puts my mind in a focus of the time that you're in. Imagine yourself in that space, in that climate. So when I'm coloring, I have something in mind. It really makes you enjoy what you're doing, because you see yourself in the excitement of what you're coloring. Whether it's nature whether it's a particular picture. And sometimes when it's just something different and vibrant and unusual and unique, it's the excitement and the love of doing something unique and putting color to the page that really speaks aloud and speaks its own to you in its own way. So those are things that I really look forward to when I buy different coloring books. I love this page too, with the hay on a farm. I think I did start something in this book. Let's see. Sorry. Yeah. I tried to start a little of that with a little coloring of the background. So nothing much. But yeah. I did get Little Town by my girl. I love her books. Her name is Toss. Let me see, make sure I have her name right. Tanya Bogima Stova. And I have her other book. It's a vintage book. But her little pictures in here are just nice with the little stores. With the ice cream stores, the vintage stores. And it's called Little Town. So when I saw it online, I was like, I like that. I like that she has images of different parts of the town, and it kind of puts you in the image of walking through a town during, you know, the fall season and going into different stores and learning how to color brick or different interior design. So yeah, nice town, or even being on the beach. So I really kind of like the Nice Town book. Haven't done anything in this book. My other book I like that has a lot of good nature scenes is Luna. I've had Luna for a while. And Luna has a lot of beautiful pictures, just like my girl Hannah Carlson. I started trying to do this with the flowers. I was doing it with the pastel, but I wasn't liking the way it was turning out too much, so I kind of stopped. But I said I was going to try to put in my prismas, do more with the prismas, because I wasn't liking the way the pastel was going down on the page. And when you hear people say, I didn't like the way the pencil went down on the page and how I felt, you're like, okay, what that mean? Especially when you're a beginner. And then when you get to it, you're like, okay, I see what they're saying. I know what they mean when they say that now. So when I'm coloring flowers, I like to do flowers that you would normally see. Then I like to always add something different, like the little blue flowers here. Maybe something you might think you would see in a swamp or something you wouldn't usually see. So I like my colors to be different or unusual. So yes. And I love the pictures in Luna. And yeah. Definitely the little girl just sitting there like she's a little person. I thought that was just so cute. And once again, I have I think this is my 5th Kirby. Kirby is just different. And he's another one of my favorite artists. And when I saw Mythology, I was like, I have to get that one too. And I had already 4 of his books. But when I saw this one, I only started this one. This is another whip. I haven't finished. With all the trees and then big pictures like this with the dragon. You just can't go wrong with Kirby. He can be intimidating because he has such unique and original designs, and designs that are just like, wow. But I love stepping into Kirby because you're stepping into something like the unknown. When you step into Kirby, you're stepping into the unknown. You're stepping into something that's going to be like, boom, wow, oh my God. It's going to excite you one way or another because you find stuff you don't normally see in regular coloring books. You're going to see something that you didn't know was there. So I love Kirby. But his pictures are just extraordinary. Like, I just think that's an extraordinary picture. Just to put all the color that you can add to that and make it poof. I just love him. But yes, he does some outstanding work. And I had to get Mythomorphia because his pictures are just awesome. just skipping through pages of some of his awesome work. Yeah, I've seen people do this picture of the werewolf, and I thought I would do that for like the Halloween kind of October-ish content. And I've seen gorgeous, 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 gorgeous pictures of this one, and it's really 2 pages, but oh my gosh, I've seen some really wonderful pages. The other book I have was the Mythographic Mythographic Imagine. And I thought it might kind of be a little more like Kirby. I was like, are they trying to be like Kirby? When I looked through a review of what it looked like, and I said, okay, that looks kind of good. I kind of like unique. I like different. So when I saw how the pictures look, because like, you know, I always say I like different. I like that, you know, when you step into it, like I said, you step into something a little different, a little unknown. You never know what you're going to meet in the page. And it just depends on what it is. I have tried to do one page. Let me see where I was at right there. I started it, but I'm not yet done with it. And I like this with the girl. She has wings. And then you see there's an owl there. Then there's leaves. So yeah. Here's some really, with the big turtle. And then there's an owl here. There's some really unique pages in this book. So yeah, I like that one too. The other one I had to get because I got Secret Garden. I think I have 3 instead of 2. And I love the pictures in this one. This one at first kind of gave me that kind of like childish feel because of how the pictures looked. And I don't like always getting like coloring books that have more of you know, I don't know, kind of like a childhood kind of look to it when it comes to the drawings. But then there's certain drawings I do like because I love the mushrooms. I love how they do the flowers. I love the little butternut houses. And the mushroom house. So I went ahead and got this one because I do have 3 and I did like the way that looked. I like the ones with the butterflies. You can see that as well. And the little rabbit, that's cute. And then there's the last one, a really unusual one. Now when I saw this, I was thinking of a very particular movie I like. It's called The Highlander. It has Sean Connery in it. But when I got it, I said, oh, this is called The Outlander. This is not what I was thinking. But this is a movie that is actually on Netflix. And it is a movie about a young woman who is a nurse in World War II. And she's married to a man who's also was in the war. And the war is over. And she goes to this place where there's these monuments, like these bricks. And they're like exploring this historical castle. And she ends up getting transported through time. And ends up missing, and he doesn't know if she was kidnapped or she left him for another man. But yeah. And there's all the pictures and the words that talk about the movie itself. And this is the lady. So I was like, oh wow. That it says, after 4 years as a Royal Army nurse, I was enjoying the escape from uniforms and rationing by indulging in brightly printed light cotton dresses, totally unsuited for rough walking through the heather. And there's all these pretty pictures, but it goes right along what's the story? And as I've been watching the series on Netflix, I really have been enjoying it. Now this car is really burgundy. It's pretty. It's really beautiful. If you watch the Netflix movie, it's back there. You know, the 1930s, back in World War II. So I definitely want to do this. I think it's going to be one of the first pictures I do in this particular page. And these are the men in the kilts. They're Scottish men. And she's from England. And she ends up with a Scottish man. But yeah, these are the books that I've been buying. I like that one too. Because I remember when she met him. He was the man she met on the other side that she ended up marrying. Because I really love different books for different reasons, and I think as you become a colorist, what you're drawn to, what interests you, whether it's because of the season, whether you go with the trends. I'm not against people who go with the trends, but I look at people who are some extraordinary and very great colorists, and I love watching them because of their talent, their skill, and just listening to their stories and the reasons why they like certain artists the way they do. So as the spiritual colorist and painter, spiritual colorist and diamond painter, I just want to know, if you're a colorist, what draws you to do coloring? What is your motive and what makes you feel good about coloring? Do you color just out of boredom, or do you color because there's something that draws you to the artist or the page? And when you do it, do you have a feel or excitement for what you do? Because we can also get bored sometimes, and sometimes we just do things because it's what's going on right now. And I'm learning the artistic side in me. I really feel like it's a season or a time where God is really bringing out the artistic side of some of us, a side that we may have, kept hidden for a long time, or a side we didn't even know we had. For me, I've never really been an artistic person, but I've always loved art. I've always loved coloring. But now, as I'm learning different things in coloring, as I'm learning how to really become better at the skill, and learning the different tools that I want to use and how to bring life to the page, it's becoming more and more and more interesting, and I draw towards the things that I feel are more particularly I'm connected to, whether it's from, like I said, childhood memories, whether it's nature, something I love, whether it's characters and how those characters make me feel, or how I feel they relate to me. So what makes you tick? What makes your fancy? What is your fancy as a colorist? And that's kind of, where I'm at right now as a beginner. Not just doing it to be doing it, but learning the real nature and the artist within yourself. And learning how to explore the different levels of being a colorist. And fulfilling that talent within you. A talent you may have always known you had. A talent you may have never known you had. A talent you're just beginning to build and construct and begin to dive into. And for me, I'm just learning. I'm just learning step by step the artist within myself. So with that being said, this is your spiritual colorist and diamond painter. And my thing is, learn who you are within, because there's so much more to you that meets the eye. There is an artist in you. There is a creator in you. There's a visionary in you. There is a businesswoman in you. There is a minister in you. And we don't even know sometimes who we are and how talented and gifted we are. And sometimes we hide it without even knowing that it is one of the things that will bless us the most. So be blessed and know that you are highly favored. And I hope that you enjoy my little haul that I have for you guys. I always say, you know, as we're journeying through this path as beginners and learning to stay uplifted, stay motivated, I'm always going to try to bring content that you guys are interested in. Please follow and subscribe if you like my content. And thank you for tuning in. And this is your spiritual colorist and diamond painter, Lady T. Shay T. Peace out and be blessed.